Hi everyone. This is a case study for myself at Spartanite and Abby Santa Fe. So Abby, thank you so much for your time today. And I'm really excited to share a little bit about you and about your story and how you found us and like what your life looks like now. So please, without any further ado, please share what's your name and what do you do? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, my name's Abby Santa Fe. I can't say much about my work, but I do a lot of administration work, a lot of background work of other people based on other things. It's pretty complicated, but basically it's sensitive information I have to deal with. So it can get a bit complex, and I do deal with clients who have sensitive cases. It can be very stressful. Let's just put it that way.
Tell us a little bit about your background, like before your sensitive work. That of course, we respect the fact that it is sensitive and confidential information that cannot be shared publicly. We respect that. Tell us a little bit about your background, who you are, where you're from in the world, where you grew up, so on and so forth.
Basically, I grew up in Australia. My parents are migrants. Basically, they came to Australia to seek a better life. They came here legally, so basically my dad came in with his brother, with the help of his brother, whereas my mom came in as, I think, as a worker, a skilled person, and then they met each other, then they got married, then they had me and my other sibling. Things that time were very different, not much technology that time.
For sure.
So yeah, everything was much more hands-on. And the world was small, I would say, without technology. And because of that, people mingled about a lot more. And that was the good side. People were much more closer, but on the bad side, people were much more close-minded. So you did get a lot of issues being different in the neighborhood, because at that point of time there was only a few Asians, a few Middle Easterners, a few people with different backgrounds at that time. So yeah, people picked on you based on what you look like, but after they get to know you, it was much more of the typical, if you're popular, they'll hang out with you, if not, different story.
For sure. I think that's everywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
People face all different types of discrimination, which is really interesting that I want us to cover a little bit more about that today. So tell me a little bit about what you were struggling with when you decided, or when you found us at Spartanite. What happened? Tell us a little bit about the story. I know you've told me personally, but I can't wait to share it with everybody.
I wasn't happy with my life even when I was young. I felt like I was supposed to do more. Unfortunately, sometimes I feel back then, it felt like everything I try to do, like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, shall we say. I figured that one of the issues was not only the people around me, but also myself and my home life. So to put it simply, at that time I didn't know, but I've noticed how my mom, like my parents, like to pick on me more than my other sibling. And I found that affected me a lot with my confidence, my self-esteem. And then with a lot of bullying I had when I was young, and a lot of couple of failures, I would say, just because like some people stole my work when I was young. I used to get hit or picked on just because of my what I look like. So, well, and also because back then I used to help my dad work a lot, because back then I wouldn't say we weren't, like, we weren't rich, we weren't poor, we were just getting by. So most of the time I didn't spend my time playing around as much. I spent my time with my dad looking for work and working, helping him.
For sure.
I wanted to get ahead in life, but let's just say a lot of setbacks and a lot of bullying and all that kind of slowly made me start think negatively.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So.
I mean, it's usually a trickle down effect, isn't it? It just goes way, way down, and then you're at the point where you're like, oh God, I need help. So I can obviously imagine that's probably what happened. And I do remember you telling us the story extensively. So what do you feel are the two tangible and measurable changes that you made once you worked with Spartanite, or once you came to us and decided to work with us?
I guess I was more open. Well, I was a bit more desperate now at that time, because I feel like with everyone, they kind of put the spirituality as a last minute thing,
Right.
if that makes sense. So I tried doing the typical stuff like going through philosophy, reading books, self-help.
Yes.
I didn't really do counseling and all that, just because I had a lot of really bad experiences when I was young, not only from myself, but also from other people who've told me or who've I witnessed as well. It got really bad to the point where I felt I'll never end my life, but I felt really suicidal, if that makes sense, really depressed.
Yes.
So finally, yeah, funny thing is I actually did see your site, but I thought I'll think about it. But every time I got drawn towards your website, until one day I said, okay, if I keep thinking about this site, then I'll come back. 1 week or so later, same thing. So I thought, okay, I have to come back. Yeah. So doing work with Spartanite, it opened my eyes a bit in terms of I've always been into supernatural and spiritual stuff, but along the way, as I grew up, I kind of closed that off a bit. So with working with Spartanite, it's opened that up, and it's open to other avenues I didn't realize was there. Like, for example, pinpointing out not only my issues, but how to solve them. So one of the core things was that I was really not open to femininity, but now I am open to it. It's kind of hard to explain, actually.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So obviously your two tangible things is obviously opening yourself more up to spirituality, and then also opening yourself up to femininity, which a lot of our female or lady viewers will know that there was such a pushback of, you know, you're supposed to be feminine and then you're shamed for being feminine and so on and so forth, which is really interesting exchanges and back and forths that we have had. So from where you were when you first found me to where you are now, what does your life look like? Like, how has it changed?
I think, like everything, a lot of people think at first, if they get something done, they'll actually have immediate results. That's not the case. It's very, I wouldn't say slow, depending on what things are changing. It's either immediate to gradual, but the key thing is it's subtle. It's there, it's changing. So one of the things was basically my outlook and perspective of things.
Sure.
It used to be very, as you know, dry, dark, black humor, whatever. Very sarcastic as well. Very rigid, I would say. Like, my attitude was a bit more rigid and more clinical and technical.
Okay, sure.
Just to get things done. But working with Sparty, it's made me a bit more relaxed, a bit more into my femininity, a bit more patient. I'm not there yet, but I am getting there.
Yeah, we're all a work in progress, Abby. We're all a work in progress for sure.
What was it? It's also, I guess, more, what was it? I've always been open to spirituality, but now I guess I'm a bit more powerful, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you've obviously worked.
I got a bit more stronger with it.
You've obviously worked a lot on yourself. So what do you think is the one major thing that your life has completely changed after going through Spartanite products or working with me personally? What do you think has radically shifted in you?
The first biggest thing that has changed is me being more open to the idea of change itself. Back then, I thought I was open to change, but I found that I tend to do the same things over and over again. So whenever I find that I want to change myself, I'm not happy or something, I want to change myself, I would actually not realize it, but do the same things again to try and solve my situation.
Right.
Obviously, that didn't work. It's also another change. yeah. But sorry, going back to working with Sparty, yeah, I find that I converse a lot more with spirits now. Back before that, I used to converse a lot when I was a child, but then with a lot of things happening, and it got too intense to the point where I decided to shut it off. But obviously, when you even though you shut it off, it won't.
No,
Like,
they don't.
No, they won't go away.
They don't leave you alone.
You're
you're like on the most wanted list with them. It's obviously because you have the senses and you can interact, and it's very profound what you've said, that the key major change is the fact that you've been able to slowly open up your senses, which a lot of our clients actually say that you've helped me slowly and patiently open my senses up, not to the point that it's like overnight, but a gradual progression whereby it feels very natural and normal for obviously human beings to communicate with spirits as we once did once upon a time. It's nothing weird or shameful. It's just people are so cut off, they think it's strange. That's thank you for sharing that, because that's quite profound. What's the most delightful part of your experience of working with us? What have you really, really enjoyed? I'd love to hear that.
Talking to spirits. They're actually
spirits, yes.
I mean, compared to when I was younger, of course they were fun, but at the same time, I guess I wasn't well protected back then,
right?
Because even though I was open to the good spirits, I was really opened myself to dark spirits as well, which at that time I didn't know because I was young. But looking back, I realized I was lucky I wasn't possessed, or I wasn't.
Yes, for sure. You got off easy, let's put it that way. Okay,
yeah, there were a close close. There were a few close calls, but yeah, so far I'm like, oh God.
So that's really good, that the most delightful part is obviously connecting with the spirit world, which is truly intangible, immeasurable, and priceless. There's no amount of price you can ever put on basically channeling spirits and receiving their information and having lifelong connections and a family support structure with them, which is incredible. And last but not least, of course, if someone is thinking of working with us at Spartanite, what would you personally tell them, Abby?
I would personally tell them go ahead, especially coming from my background and my experiences with trying to find help and dealing with other people. I just find that here it's really not judgmental. Like working with Spartanite, it has been a very fun, and I wouldn't say a long journey, but it's been a heavy journey, I would say. But it was fun. It was fun because for me, the information was easy to learn. It's like I already knew this, but it's a good reminder. But it's also the fact that it's like you pick on things that I didn't think about, like, oh, okay, it wasn't there when I first saw it, sort of thing.
Right.
I enjoy the fact that it feels safe working with Spartanite, because a lot of the times I was actually shamed and picked on for my difference. But working with Spartanite, there was no judgment. There was only patience and understanding here.
That's wonderful. I'm glad you found it so exciting and fun, and it's so cool to work with you. And I think you're such an amazing person, and truly your psychic gifts are second to none. Like, yeah. Yeah, that's me who's really gifted saying that. So that's truly amazing, and I'm really happy that you found us and we found you as well, because it's always a mutual two-way street, and that we've helped you so much in such a short space of time. And I endeavor that we're able to help you even further to achieve all your lifelong goals, your destiny, your life path, your glory, and your dreams. So with that said, I just want to thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing your experience more than anything, because there are so many people who feel perhaps they'd be sat on the fence about things, or they'd be thinking, well, should I do it? Should I not do it? And, of course, it's one thing me saying it, and then it's another thing, somebody who has gone through the gauntlet, who has gone through the experience. And just like Abby has said, for all of you guys listening, it's about taking that brave first step. You may come from a background where you may have been bullied, you may have been shamed, you may have been put through abuse. But here at Spartanite, we are always happy to encourage you to listen to you, to be patient with you, and just steer you along in the right direction. And the most important thing before I close is that Spartanite is not a place where we want to fit you in a box and then we ship you down in a box. I personally, as Nadia Arain, always encourage people to chart their own route to success in life. And I don't want anybody to be like me, although if they're inspired by me, that's a great thing. But I want them to find their own way in life so that they can be happy being them and not being a carbon cutout or carbon copy or a cutout version of something else that they feel they have to get into the structure in order to ascend to what they think success is. So Abby, thank you so much for your time. And, you know, I hope to do another one of this with you at a new date. And
of course, anytime.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, if you're thinking of working with us, as Abby has said, please reach out to us, or myself and April will be in touch with you. Thank you so much.